Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, I want to take a look at Bayou Billy, The Adventures of Bayou Billy. I guess that's from the video game. Now, I didn't know anything about it. A year or two ago was the first I heard about the video game. Because I'm not a video game person, so why would I? But I did read the comic book almost 35 years ago now. And I liked it. And I thought it was quite interesting for being something different. Of course, it's Archie Adventure Series, and this is Bayou Billy number 4 from 1990. Archie Adventure Comics. But before we take a dive into that, remind you, got my two comic books available here. Bizarre Brain Comics Anthology and Bizarre Brain Comics Presents Heroes. Both available on Amazon and other online booksellers such as the Barnes & Noble online store. $7.99 each. This is mostly humor with a little of adventure, and this is more mainstream. We got superheroes, a little bit of horror in there, stuff like that. That's what you can see just a little bit of examples of some of that stuff. So, and I do thank everyone who has got their copies of my book. Thank you all so much. Now, The Adventures of Bayou Billy, number 4. Okay, Archie Adventure Comics, Archie Adventure Series of 1990, written by Rich Margopoulus. That's a Greek name. With art by Amanda Connor and Mike Esposito. He's seen a lot of inking from Mike Esposito. From a lot of them. And it is based on the video game and an action game by Konami for Nintendo Entertainment in North America in 1989. And this Archie Comics produced a comic series based on the game by Rich Margopoulus and Amanda Connor for 5 bi-monthly issues in 89 and 90. Okay, liberties were taken with the plot and characterizations from the game, and introduces additional supporting cast members. And Bayou Billy is a bounty hunter who is assisted by some of his former military associates. Because that's part of the thing. He is a veteran and uses his talents to get bad guys. Okay, and Amanda Connor, she's the penciler. She was born in 1967. She's an American comic book artist and commercial art illustrator. She studied at the Joe Kubert School, and she started as assistant to Bill Sienkiewicz. In the late 80s, she began her career at Archie and Marvel Comics, then moved to Claypool Comics and Harris Comics Vampirella in the 90s. And in the 2000s, she worked on Mad Magazine, as well as the New York Times, and at DC on Harley Quinn and Power Girl, etc. So she's had a full career doing all kinds of neat stuff. And it's a pretty decent job. So this is early in her career. I imagine she only got better. It is her style, whether it's because of the inks or just her own style, it is slightly stylized. It has almost an animated look to it. And whether that's intentional or just because of a combination of the two artists' styles, I can't say. But it is nicely done. Has a pretty good panel-to-panel continuity, visual storytelling, etc. And it starts off with Bill. It's called Billy's Night Out, and we see in front of the church the wedding of Billy and his bride, and some of his friends. This is all flashback, and some of his friends who were part of the wedding party, and were introduced to his bride and his sister-in-law. They happened to, and he actually met his wife through his sister, her sister, who was a mechanic, and we see, okay, he used his GI Bill to buy a house when he got out of the military, became a cop. All this takes place in New Orleans, in the New Orleans area. And he got married, and then he sees something about Rick Gordon released from prison. And he's somebody that Billy himself had put in jail. And he is kind of concerned. Here he's just discovering that his wife may be pregnant. She's got a doctor's appointment. And since her car is trapped is blocked by his, she's going to take his vehicle, which is a Jeep. And kablooey! Yes. She is blown to smithereens. Oh, and he was horrified, and it's all terrible. There he is on at her graveside and stuff. Then we see he wakes up. All that was a dream. Remembering a dream sometime during the night, and he all this time. This has been months or maybe 2 years. 2 years since his wife was killed, and all this time he's been trying to find out and get who had done the bombing, and he suspected, of course, it was that guy Gordon who was behind it. What was his name? Rick Gordon. Yeah, is part of a crime family. But he is determined. He had resigned from the police force shortly after his wife was killed, and he became a bounty hunter. And so, while he was a cop, he was given, he has his Cajun background, and he was given the nickname of Bayou Billy. If it even says his last name in here, I don't know. So he gets up, and he says, and he's considering who is behind all this. Big Daddy Gordon, New Orleans crime boss, stepson Rocco, or his real son Rocky. Or Rock Gordon. He's a waterfront hood. So he's sure that they are behind it, but he's got to find out, get evidence and all this stuff. So he pulls out of a secret hiding hole his stash of illegal weapons. Instead of just an AR-15, apparently this is an M16, which is, remember, AR-15 is a civilian version of an M16. Basically, from what I understand, I don't have one. The only main difference is that the AR-15 does not go fully auto, so it's a single shot. Even whichever the case may be, it doesn't matter here. He goes to New Orleans, and he goes to see. Since Gordons are involved in gambling, he goes to someplace where there is a fairly big stakes poker game. He smashes in, pulls a Batman going through the skylight. Everybody scatters, freeze, and go blam, 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 blam. So whether that is fully auto or single shots in quick succession, we don't know. But you can just assume that it's auto. And gets him to stop. The goon comes up, sneaking up behind him, and he gets him whacked with the butt of his combat knife. And these guys are so into gambling, so hooked. They're placing bets on anything and everything, from whether he can shoot, whether he's going to shoot them, whether he can hit the guy with a knife again, etc. Now he tries to get information from him. Where do I find Swamp Gas Charlie, who he wants to find to get some information from? And they make a suggestion, and they are right back at the game. And then they discovered those were rubber bullets, so it wouldn't have been fatal unless it had a particularly vulnerable spot. He goes to the Rue Morgue, a dive bar, and he's supposed to talk to the bartender. He's instantly recognized, and all the goons that work there or that are relaxing there take off. Leaves the bartender to himself. He's trying to be tough and ignore him, but Billy gets his attention and says, "Where do I find him?" Blah 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 blah. Dr. Two-Head McGraw, who is a thug, and he goes to find McGraw, who is basically hired muscle or I said he, it should be they, are basically hired muscle for gangs and loan sharks, etc. And because here they are conjoined twins. They're joined at the shoulder. So between the two of them, they have 2 heads, 2 arms, and 4 legs. And he gets up there, and they quick enough to get the gun out of Billy's hand and goes to town. Whack, 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 whack. Well, Billy does his thing and manages to knock those boys out. Then he gets some more info there. Where to find him? So, talk to Snitch. So he goes to find the guy Snitch. It's his little flop house. Busts in. Well, Snitch is trying to go out the back way. Stops him and coerces him by dunking his head in a filthy mop bucket. He gets the info to find Charlie Gaskell, who is known as Swamp Gas Charlie, and of course at an abandoned chemical plant. And I can't get it. He busts in there just as Swamp Gas Charlie is whipping up some kind of gas. He's got a gas mask on and hurls the thing. Boom! It's gas. It causes some kind of hallucinogenic effect. But Bayou Billy, he's way wise to the ways of the swamp, and he pulls out of his little hip pack a specific root, chomps on that, which was supposed to clean his blood of the toxin and help him recover. Meanwhile, we see this the big old car of Gaskell going to Al's Garage and Towing, which is where Billy's sister-in-law lives or works, and where she fixes up his specialized vehicles that he uses in his bounty hunting business. And it's very, very lovely look on the young lady. She looks kind of like a female version of Archie, only prettier. And she's gassed and knocked out. And then we see some of Billy's specialized vehicles here. So then Billy comes around. He takes off. He suspects where he's going, or he's off, and then suddenly, boom! He is intercepted by one of his own vehicles. Well, bam, bam, bam! Chase, chase, chase! Slam, slam, slam! Throws a can of paint on the windshield so Charlie can't see, and leads him down a dead end alley. Jumps out. Finds refuge just in time for Charlie to smash into his car and then trap himself. Billy gets the guy out, and after a little bit of fighting exchange, and takes Charlie's gas mask himself when Charlie tries to gas him, then beats the tar out of him. Then he tries to get some information. Says, "Who planted the bomb that killed my wife? Was it you?" No, it was Hurricane Hank. Hurricane Hank? He drowned. He's dead. Last time we tussled. I've been cheated. And he's all angry. There's the cops there. And he stomps off. But all this time, Billy has been wondering. He's had a suspicion that he's being watched and followed. And here we see the silhouette of somebody who is watching himself. So, next, who is stalking Bayou Billy? And you have to pick up the next issue to find out. And I don't know who it was. I don't remember. It's been a long time if I even had that particular one. I always enjoyed the book. I think it was a fun book. Some good artwork. I think it was pretty well done. It's a nice change from all the superheroes for an action-adventure story that doesn't involve superheroes. But it is a video game, and I know nothing about those video games. My video game experience was primarily back with Pac-Man and Space Invaders and stuff like that, and Pong. I remember Pong. Do you remember Pong? For most of you out there, Pong is probably older than you are. So anyway, that's what I've got for you this time. It's a fun book to read. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you've never read it, if you happen to come across a cheap copy of one of these issues, I recommend you at least check it out. Because remember, having fun reading these things is the objective of the comics. So remember, like, share, and subscribe. If you have a friend or someone who maybe not be aware of this stuff but is into video games, specifically this video game, share it with them. They might find it interesting. And let me know what you think of Bayou Billy, both either the game or the comic, in the comments below. And remember, comics are art.